Happy Wednesday, gang. Hopefully you guys are having a beautiful week. It is freezing here in the States, but nevertheless, we're going to get warmed up with these charts. Let's dive into some of these ideas that I've been poking around at. I want to take you first to a 2-hour, show you guys what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at this trend line. If we go ahead and zoom out a little bit here, it's going to be this support area, right? This black line that you see right over here where there's a red arrow. That sits right around 33.86 down to 33.68. Excuse me, it's 33.68 to be exact. But essentially, if we look left, we can see that there was support here, and then we obviously took that level up to these highs, 4700s and even 4800s, and a little bit higher to all-time high. Yes, there is additional support that sits here inside this area. This was where we had reaccumulation. So for us to go back and test that area wouldn't be outside of the norm, but from a count perspective, and I'll show you the count here in a minute, this is really what I'm looking at, because if my count is accurate and it's valid, better put, then we should be bouncing somewhere inside of this level. So let's go over to the 89 minute. This is really what I'm looking at. Now we can see on the 89 minute here from a sequential count, we did get a 9 that was higher than the 7. It wasn't lower. So this is the call, or at least the reasoning for this move right back down, why it was round tripped at 34.22 inside of that area. Now the next level was 33.68, which is a 0.618 level. And we can see the count here. This is going to be a minor wave count. That's the degree, starting from here being the origins point, wave 1, 2. This obviously was a wave 3, this impulse up. And now we're looking at right over here being a potential wave 4. Can it come down a little bit lower? Yes, it can come down to these levels. So as long as it doesn't come down to a 0.88 level, which would be, let's go ahead and open that up. We can't come down to that level and the count still be valid. Can price action come to that level? Yeah, absolutely. It would invalidate the move altogether, but this would be the line in the sand, if you will, for better terminology, this 0.76 fib level. As of right now, I did long the 0.618 level, because I'm looking for this to be a wave 4, completion of wave 4, being that it took out this 9, it completed it because we had a 9 failure right over here. And speaking of 9 failure, one of the reasons why I feel like we're going back up is because I'm going to go over to a 30 minute, and we can see we had something very similar to that, right? We had a 7 that was higher than the 9, and yes, we did get some price action that came right above. But if we look left, right over here, we had something that's very similar. We had a 6 and a 7 that were higher than the 9, and nothing came back to this level. Nothing actually completed this 9 right over here. So I'm of the belief that price action would come back to this level at the bare minimum to fill in this level. And if we go back over to the 89 minute, this is why I was calling for this being a wave 4 and then coming back to those levels. Wave 5 essentially would put us right around 37.90 inside this benchmark, right in this area. It could fall a little bit shorter than that, because if I take the height of wave 1 and then just go ahead and move that over to where wave 4 was at, let's say wave 4 is here, it could come a little bit lower to this 37.12 benchmark. This is one of the areas that we were looking at, even on a higher time frame. This is one of the levels that we were discussing. Let me go ahead and open up the object tree for us real quick, and it sits right over here. It's inside this benchmark. Let me go ahead and lower that a little bit. It's right inside of these levels. It's inside this area, right inside of this what we would call the golden pocket. So this is going to be a real battleground for us altogether. It's just a matter of how and when we get there. I do have different wave counts over here as well too, suspecting that we are still inside of wave 3 on a 4-hour, but I don't want to be confusing. Let's stick to one of the main ideas that we're looking at right now. Looking at an 89 minute for the wave count, then I'm following over to a 2-hour just to get the clean view of it all together. So if you guys are just curious as to what timeframes I'm utilizing, these are the timeframes that I'm utilizing. And then I'm going to float down to a 1 minute just to see where that move happens first. We can see that we have a couple wicks that are here in this area. We're bouncing in this area. We could get a little move up, clear this fair value gap. We have fair value gaps all the way up to here, right back up to the 3,500. So For those that did take the 34.22 long, hopefully you guys did take some profits on that. Hopefully you were managing it accordingly. But for the time being, this is what we're looking at right now. We're looking at that 89-minute stop losses. I have stop losses just below the 0.76 fib level in case we get a wick that comes down into this level, right? Because I'm looking at this candle right over here, seeing, well, price action doesn't stop here and maybe just wicks just below this body right over here. It's going to complete that balance inside of that area. So I have room inside of my stop loss, as you can see here on the charts, room to play with altogether. Now, if you guys have questions for me about this, please feel free to reach out to me. Thursday's class, we'll be discussing more of TD9 sequential, what we'll be looking for. I think I'm going to be factoring in stop losses and take profit levels, utilizing a TD9 sequential, how that can be utilized. This way you can identify where your stop loss is going to be altogether. Other than that, have a phenomenal remainder of your week. I'll be catching you guys on Friday with another weekly update, what the week looks like and what we should anticipate going into the following week. Other than that, be safe, be profitable, and above all, God bless you. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.